vyoma-samskrta-pathasalayaः लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदी द्वितीयभागे 37 वाग्वर्धिनी वर्गः येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयं नत्वा सरस्वतीं देवीं शुद्धां गुण्यां करोम्यहं पाणिनीयप्रवेशाय लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम्। आदौ अष्टाध्यायीं पठामः। संदीप महोदय।
राम राम राम
राम राम राम।
एतत् एत इत् बहुवचने वाक्यस्य टेः प्लुत उदात्तः प्रत्यभिवादेश शूद्रे दूराधुते च हैहे प्रयोगे हैहयोः गुरोनृतो नन्त्यस्याप्ये कैकस्य प्राचाम् ओमभ्यादाने ये यज्ञकर्मणि प्रणवष्टेः याज्ञान्तः ब्रूहि प्रेष्य श्रौषड वौषडा व हाना मादेः अग्निप्रेषणे परस्य च विभाषा पृष्ठ प्रतिवचने हे निगृह्यानुयोगे च आम्रेडितं भर्त्सने अंगयुक्तं तिंगाकांक्षं विचार्यमाणानां पूर्वं तु भाषायां प्रतिश्रवणे च अनुदात्त प्रशान्ताभिपूजितयोः चिदिति चोपमार्थे प्रयुज्यमाने उपरि स्विदासीदीति च स्वरितमाम्रेडिते सूयासम्मति कोपकुत्सनेषु शियाशिः प्रैषेषु तिंगाकांक्षम् अनन्त्यस्यापि प्रश्नाख्यानयोः प्लुता वै च इदुतौ एचो प्रगृह्यस्य दुराधुते पूर्वस्यात् उत्तरस्येत् उतौ तयोर्यावचि संहितायां पूर्वत्र अचि षडोर नसप्त एतत् इत् चिदित्यष्टौ।
सम्यक्।
राम राम राम
राम राम राम। उमादेवी भगिनी।
नमस्ते भगिनी।
हम्म।
एत ईद् बहुवचने वाक्यस्य टे प्लुत उदात्तः प्रत्यभिवादे शूद्रे दूराद्धूते च हैहे प्रयोगे हैहयोः गुरोरनृतो नन्त्यस्याप्येकैकस्य प्राचाम् ओम् अभ्यादाने ये यज्ञकर्मणि प्रणवष्टेः याज्ञान्तः ब्रूहि प्रेष श्रौषड्वौषडावहानामादेः अग्निप्रेषणे परस्य च विभाषा पृष्ठप्रतिवचने निगृह्यानुयोगे च आम्रेडितं भर्त्सने अङ्गयुक्तं तिंगाकांक्षं विचार्यमाणानां पूर्वन्तु भाषायां प्रतिश्रवणे च अनुदातं प्रश्नान्ताभिपूजितयोः चिदिति चोपमार्थे प्रयुज्यमाने उपरि स्त्विदासीदिति च त्वरितमाम्रेडिते सूयसम्मतिकोपकुत्सनेषु क्षियाशीष्प्रेषेषु तिंगाकांक्षम् अनन्त्यस्यापि प्रश्नाख्यानयोः प्लुता वै च इदुतौ एचो प्रगृह्यस्यादूराद्धूते पूर्वस्याद्धस्यादुत्तरस्येदुतौ तयोर्युवावचि संहितायां पूर्वत्र अतिषडोर्न सत्तैत ईचिदित्यष्टौ इति पाणिनिसूत्रम्।
सम्यक्। I hope everybody is practicing अष्टाध्यायी। अस्माभिः चत्वारः पादाः अधीताः, right? So 117172 and 82. It will be a part of the exam. Okay, so please do practice. You don't have to memorize it, but you have to learn to read the sutras fluently. Okay. अग्रे गच्छामः गतसप्ताहे यत् पठितं तस्य सारांशं पश्यामः. So we will try to take a quick look at what we learned in the last week in the Vibhaktyartha Prakarana. Right. So earlier we saw that Vibhakti is added in 5 different senses: Karaka, Upapada, Pratipadikārtha, Sambandha, and Karma Pravachaniya. Among them, when we try to understand Karaka, we saw that Karaka is always related to a Kriya. Kriya Janakam, Kriyanvayi, Karakam. So to understand Karaka, we need to understand what is Kriya or action. Though we have a general understanding of what is action, Shastra has gone much deeper into it, and there are some very precise definitions given for Kriya and for Karakas based on that Kriya. So the first or the fundamental concept in that is that Kriya, when a dhatu is conveying Kriya, though we generally say it's action, it is not just action. It is action targeted towards achieving a specific result that is conveyed by the dhatu. Right. So the dhatvartha or the meaning conveyed by a dhatu has 2 components always. One is called the phala and the other is called the vyapara. So phala is the resultant you are trying to achieve by doing that action, whereas vyapara is the action which facilitates that result. Right. So pachu, the easiest example, pachu is one of the easiest examples to understand. That is why it is taken as a standard example always. So viklityanukulaha vyaparaha. So pachu refers to any action that is targeted towards achieving what is called vikliti. Vikliti is the state of being cooked. It is because of this that, from the age-old days where we used to collect firewood, make a fire and then cook, till today when you are using a microwave or maybe even advanced, the pachati is still there. Because even though the actions have changed, right? Earlier, the act of, say, if you look at the Shastra Granthas, so what is the Vyapara in Pachati? They say all that. What? Which is putting the firewood, blowing the fire, making sure it burns. We do none of those today for the act of cooking, but we are still doing cooking. Why? That result-oriented action, any action which is targeted towards achieving that vikliti is conveyed by pachati. So dhatus are extremely versatile. They cover a lot of things which is very difficult to convey through words. So viklityanukulaha vyaparaha. We are not saying what exactly is the vyapara, right? You cannot define. If you think about it, to cook a potato, you need to do something else. To cook something else, you may need to do something, right? But as long as it falls within this framework, it is conveyed by the pachadhatu. So viklittihi phalam tadanukulaha sarvaha kriyaha vyapara shabdena uchyante. So the first thing is to understand that every dhatu will have this. Now, once we have defined it, what is the result we are looking at and what are the actions that we are saying will achieve that result, then we have the 2 main karakas of any action. One is the karma and the other is the karta. So the most basic sentence we learn at any time, balaha phalam khadati, has these 3, right? Karta, karma, kriya. These are the 3 major components of a sentence. Everything else comes later. But Because Kriya intimately has phala and vyapara, the ashraya for phala, where we intend to generate that resultant, will be called the object karma of that action, and that in which we see the facilitating action itself, we call the karta. So phalashrayah karma, vyaparashrayah karta. This is true for all dhatus, all actions. Everywhere, whatever phala you have, the substratum for that phala will finally be seen in the object, whereas the action will be seen in the karta. That is the basic understanding. Pachakaha odanam pachati. Pachake vyaparaha drishyate. Odane phalam nama viklittihi drishyate. Okay. Now, snati, when we say shuddhanukulaha vyaparaha. So here we saw the phalam was shuddhi and it is found in me, right? When I say snati, takes bath. So there's an interesting question here, which I'll take immediately. Snati means to take bath, right? And the effect of that bath is seen in me. Whereas the vyapara required for bathing is also seen in me. So in this case, the kartrutva overrides karmatva. Though both properties are found in the same object, the kartrutva overrides karmatva and the prayoga will be aham snami, which we call an akarmaka prayoga. Right? So phala vyaparayoho samanadhikaranye akarmakatvam. When the phala of a dhatu and the vyapara is seen in the same object, it is called an akarmaka prayoga. Whereas phala vyaparayoho vaiyadhikaranye dhatuhu sakarmakaha. If they are found in different objects, we call it sakarmaka prayoga. Right. So there is a question here. Okay, in the example of vardhate, vyaparaha aharasya jaranam. What is jaranam? Jaranam is digestion. Jirna is that which has been digested. That process of digestion is called jarana. Snati is akarmaka. Okay, say for example, if I bathed a cat or a dog, or if I bathed Krishna's idol, how is it still akarmaka? It is not akarmaka. It is what we call the preranarthaka, right? You take bath and you give a bath, right? So snati and snapayati. So that nijanta prayoga, wherever you have a niche, cause somebody to take that bath. So then you will have that what we call the prayojya karta. If you remember, we studied in Kovida. We will sometime maybe see that sutra wise. But in a nijanta prayoga, you have two things: the prayojaka karta and the prayojya karta. The prayojya karta for an akarmaka dhatu will become the karma. So aham bidalam snapayami. So you should be able to relate to that. So there is no karma. Bidalaha snati. If it, we do know, I mean, gajaha snati. So gaja will do the action itself and it takes bath. Bidala, all animals, if they want to clean, they'll go and fall in a water source and that is their action. That is when it is akarmaka. When you are doing it, the shuddhi is still there. That is the karta. So we say snapayati. Or you can use a different dhatu which says say kshalayami. Aham bidalam kshalayami. Where the kshala dhatu, the phala is shuddhi in something else. Right? So snati and kshalayati, both of them mean to clean. Whereas snati is used when we intend that the shuddhi is seen in the person who is doing the action. That is what is bathing. Right? When you say the cat takes a bath. So I give a bath. So that snati is by nature akarmaka. You can make it a causal. Whereas I can say aham bidalam kshalayami, where it is directly karma, because in kshalana kriya, shuddhi is seen in the bidala, or in a patra, or a vastra, whatever you are washing, and the vyapara is seen in me. Right? So that is the nature of dhatus. Snapayati uta snapayati. Snapayati ityeva. Sna ityasya anijanta prayogaha snapayati iti bhavati. Where do we get to see the dhatvartha for all dhatus? Nowhere. I am not aware of any source. I had that is another thing maybe I should clarify. The dhatvarthas which are given here by me, they are not all from original Vyakarana texts. Right? When they are discussing, we find samples of a few dhatvarthas. For example, Viklityanukulaha Vyaparaha is very commonly found in all Vyakhyanas. For Gam dhatu, for some of the popular dhatus, the dhatvartha in this pattern can be found in the commentaries. As far as I know, there is no list of dhatvarthas in this format. The other ones, as we keep learning, we build it. Much of it is my own, right? So it may not be exact, but since this is all based on meaning, as long as it serves to convey the meaning, it should be fine. Mata shishuna annam khadayati ityatra shishuhu api karta bhavati kim. Shishu is the one which actually eats, right? So we understand that now. Gala biladhas sanyogaha. It is the shishu which has to, swallow somehow. That is when the resultant of khadati is achieved. So shishu is the karta, prayojya karta, whereas the mother is making the shishu to eat. So she is called the prayojaka karta. In Nijantas, whether the prayojya karta will be called karma or will be called karta is something which is to be decided. There's a specific sutra for it, and that's a completely different discussion. Okay. We cannot get into that now because it's a totally its own world. If it is not a full body bathing, could we say aham mam kshalayami? You can say, but we do say aham padam kshalayami, hastam kshalayami. We definitely say that is used. Aham mam kshalayami is maybe not used, but I mean, there is a specific verb for it, so we say snami. But aham hastam kshalayami, when it is partial, the kshalana is definitely used. So is this phala vyapara different from the dhatvartha given in the dhatu patha? Yes, see, the dhatvartha given in the dhatu patha is a general one. Okay, you can derive some of this from there. Okay, so but not all. For example, bhusattayam, bhusattanukulaha vyaparaha. Action which facilitates existence is called bhu. But gatir gatau doesn't actually give any meaning, right? So this is much more precise, much more well formulated, and the purpose of this is to differentiate phala and vyapara. It is not what is given in the dhatu patha. The dhatu patha gives only a general meaning of the dhatus. So yeah, on a lighter note, sushupti is never achieved. One of our exercises has swapiti. Yeah, if it is a shallow sleep, yeah, you can say something else there. I mean, we will have to define then what exactly is sleep achieving and then define it as that. Right. So anything with meaning is broad, right? So it's not this. Anyway, we will move ahead, I think. We also saw another part, which is the sutra definitions of karta. We saw only karta last time. This week videos, we'll be seeing the sutras for each of the karakas and what they mean. So swatantra karta is the sutra for kartrikaraka, where we say kriyayam swatantriyena vivakshitaha arthaha karta syat. So karta is the one who is indicated as swatantra. So again, swatantriya, we saw that the general meaning that who he is free to do does not really work. Lot of actions we do without being free, right? So there are external influences which are acting on us to do. So swatantriya here is intended as dhatvartha vyaparashrayatvam. The vyapara which is conveyed by the dhatu varies according to the context. What are we focusing on? So we saw that in sthali pachati. A vessel has no swatantriya literally. It doesn't even have a chetana. If you take swatantra karta as the one who is free to do, no achetana vastu can ever be a karta, right? Because there is no swatantriya there. But it is not that which is intended. What is intended is that the main vyapara being conveyed by the dhatu is in that particular object. So that depends on vivaksha, right? So we saw vivakshataha kartrutvam. So what is our intention to convey, right? So if I am focusing on Arjuna as the person who killed, I say Arjunaha jaghana. Whereas if I am focusing on the arrow, I say Banaha jaghana or Brahmastram jaghana, whatever it is. Right? So Vayam prapnumaha vimanam prapnoti. Both of which are true. We reach through the vimana. It is us who is swatantra. The vimana has to be taken by the pilot, but such prayoga exists because our focus here is on what is achieved by the vimana, not on the pilot, not on us. So we saw all these examples there. So there is in language, naturally there is a subtle difference. We tend to use the same prayoga for multiple objects where it's very easy to understand. We understand it instinctively, but when we analyze it, we find that it's not as simple as it appears in first go. Right? So, Ramaha gramam gacchati ityatra Ramasya gramena saha sanyogaha phalam. Phalam rame grame cha drishyate kila. Kimartham gramaha eva karma bhavati. It has answered in this week's videos. So please watch this week and then we will discuss it again next week if you need. How come rishis or earlier Vaiyakaranas didn't tabulate the phala vyapara for each dhatu? Maybe they thought we should be able to do it. Digdarshana, right? I don't know. As in, honestly, I don't know. Was it lost over centuries? Was it ever done? I have no idea. But we should understand, I mean, those days, it was not like tabulating such things was not done. I mean, they would have done it in maybe a different format. I don't know. Even today, I mean, if there is any modern work which tries to do that, I have to find out. There are some texts like Shabda Bodha, which may have it. But as far as I know, I don't know of any such list which exists. Has Panini given the artha in the Dhatu Patha? That is again doubtful. Right? Though the Dhatu Patha is given by Panini, the arthas are said to be by some other Vaiyakarana called Bhimasena. That is again through tradition. Some of the commentaries mention that the artha nirdesha is not Paninian. That is why it's not, again, dhatvarthas are not complete or fully exact. It is purely based on prayoga, that the meaning of the dhatus has to be known. Right. Yeah. So this also we saw. If there are no other questions, we can try to analyze the sentences or the exercise and see if there are any doubts. Okay. So the first exercise involved analyzing sentences, right? So, and seeing what is the dhatvartha. Based on that, how we find the karta and the karma, and whether it is sakarmaka or akarmaka. Please raise your hands. Yes, Nalini Bhagini.
नमस्ते भगिनि. शिष्यः गुरुं भजति इत्यत्र व्यापारः प्रशंसावचनानि नमनम् इत्यादयः व्यापारः भवितुम् अर्हति वा? फलं तु तुष्टिः एव. अतः व्यापारः शिष्ये दृश्यते, फलं तु गुरौ दृश्यते इत्यतः सकर्मकः भवति.
सम्यक्. सो भज इत्यस्य अर्थः तुष्ट्यनुकूलः व्यापारः. तत्र तुष्टिः फलं. तुष्टिः नाम सन्तोषः, हैप्पिनेस् इति. तत्र फलस्य आश्रयः गुरुः. तत्र सन्तोषः कस्य भवति? गुरोः भवति. अतः गुरुः कर्म भवति. व्यापारः तुष्ट्यनुकूलः. could be anything. Again, as you said, padanipedanam, vastra prakshalanam, shraddhaya adhyayanam. It doesn't have to be literally doing anything. Studying well also gives happiness. Tadapi guru seva ityeva. तत्र व्यापाराश्रयः तद् यत्किमपि भवतु तस्य व्यापारस्य आश्रयः शिष्यः. अतः शिष्यः कर्ता. कर्म भिन्नमस्ति, कर्ता भिन्नः. अतः अयं सकर्मकः प्रयोगः. सम्यक्
भगिनी, दायन क्रियायाः विषये प्रश्नः अस्ति, पृच्छामि वा?
तत्र गच्छामः, तदा प्रश्नः.
तत्र
अस्तु, अग्रे मैथिली भगिनी.
नमस्ते भगिनी.
हाँ.
मीनाः जले जीवन्ति. अत्र धात्वर्थः फलं तदनुकूलव्यापारश्च. फलं प्राणधारणं. फलाश्रयः कस्मिन् फलमस्ति? मीनासु.
मीनेषु अस्ति.
मीनेषु, क्षम्यताम्. कर्म अत्र अतः कर्मपदं मीनाः भवन्ति. व्यापारः जलात् प्राणवायुः स्वीकरणं, श्वासकोशस्य शोषणं. एते क्रियाः मीनेषु अपि भवन्ति. अतः कर्ता अपि मीनाः. क्रियायाः फलं व्यापारम् उभयमपि मीनेषु अस्ति. अतः समानाधिकरण्ये जीवधातुः अकर्मकः भवति.
सम्यक्. अकर्मकः धातुः. उत्तमं, सम्यक् उक्तं. तत्र फलं प्राणधारणं, होल्डिंग life, that is living, surviving is the phala, right? So that is in the meena. We say the fish is alive or it is dead. So all that it needs to do to stay alive, right? The respiration, uchvasa nishvasaha, tatra through the gills taking in, hridaya spandaha, ashanam jaranam. So you have to take food and digest it. So everything needs to happen. So living is a very, very complicated affair. किन्तु एतशः सर्वोऽपि व्यापारः मीनेषु एव दृश्यते इत्यतः मीनाः एव कर्तारः. कर्तृत्वं कर्मत्वम् उभयोः समानाधिकरण्ये धातुः अकर्मकः. अत्र जले इत्यस्ति, जलम् अधिकरणं भवति. अग्रिम अस्मिन् सप्ताहे वयं पश्यामः. So jala is the adhikarana, the ashraya for the kriya. Astu. Excuse me, just one moment. Astu. Agrimamasti. Choraha dhanikasya abharanam chorayati. Sainavya.
Vadami.
Sharada Bhagini vadatu. Just a minute. You can take the next one.
चोरः धनिकस्य आभरणं चोरयति. चुरु इति धातु व्यापारः अस्ति. धनिकस्य आभरणं प्राप्तिः इति चोरः इच्छति. अतः कर्मत्वम् अस्ति आभरणे. चोरः फलं प्राप्नोति
फलं किम् अस्ति?
कार्यद्वारा. सो कर्तृत्वम् अस्ति चोरेण.
सकर्मकः वा कर्मकः वा?
सकर्मकधातु.
सकर्मकः प्रयोगः. तत्र चोरयति इत्युक्ते स्वत्वसम्पादनानुकूलः. When you gain ownership. So again, this is what is defined by me. It is not, I didn't find chorayati anywhere. But what is stealing is you make an object yours without the knowledge of the owner. Right? Kaschit swami bhavati, adya yaha swami tasya vastunaha, tasya jnanam vina anumatim vina. Right. So if it's a friend, she doesn't mind you taking, you won't call it as stealing. Right. So without knowing and without being permitted by the Swami, tatra svatva sampadanam eva chauryam iti uchyate. Tatra phalam kim, you gain the ownership. Svatvam tatra phalam bhavati. Kutra asti iti chet abharane asti. Ataha abharanam karma bhavati. Kaha karoti tadanukulah vyaparah kaha iti chet tatra yatkimapi sandhihi ityuktate. Kanna hakodu iti kannada bhashayam. You older days you have to make a hole in the wall to enter. Tad bhavitum arhati. Avadhana akarshanam, when you distract somebody and then maybe snatch away the mobile or the chain. Praharanam kadachit santadya api chauryam kartum shakyate. Sarvopi vyaparaha tatra chorayati ityatra antarbhavati. Tatra svatva sampadananukulah sarvopi vyaparaha. Saha vyaparaha chore asti ityataha choraha karta. कर्तृ कर्मणोः अथवा फल व्यापारयोः वैयधिकरण्यात् धातुः सकर्मक अस्ति. अत्र ज्ञातव्यं चोरः धनिकस्य आभरणं चोरयति इत्युक्ते धनिकस्य चौर्यक्रियया सम्बन्धः नास्ति. He is not involved in any way in the act of stealing. आभरणस्य धनिक सम्बन्धः अस्ति इत्येव. धनिक आभरणयोः स्वस्वामी भाव सम्बन्धः अस्ति, किन्तु धनिकस्य चौर्यक्रियायाः च सम्बन्धः नास्ति. अतः धनिकः अत्र कारकं न भवति चौर्यक्रियायाम्. अग्रे गच्छामः. काष्ठच्छिदः हस्तात् कुठारः नदीं पतति. सायनव्य.
तत्र काष्ठच्छिदः हस्तात् कुठारः नद्यां पतति. तत्र नदीम् इति टङ्कनदोषः अस्ति इति मन्ये अहम्.
मया तु नदीम् इत्येव विवक्षितम्.
तत्र नद्याम् इति किमर्थं न स्यात्?
तदपि भवति विवक्षा. विवक्षातः कारकाणि भवन्ति. अत्र विवक्षा कः अस्ति? संयोगानुकूलः अधोमुखः व्यापारः इति पतधातोः व्यापारस्य विवक्षा अस्ति. So what is intended is action which facilitates something traveling downwards and making contact. संयोगानुकूलः अधोमुखः व्यापारः यदा पतधातुना विवक्ष्यते तत्र कर्म भवति. यदा तु केवलम् अधोमुखः व्यापारः विवक्ष्यते, संयोगः नापेक्ष्यते, तत्र कूपं पतति, भूमिं पतति इत्यादि प्रयोगाः सन्ति.
तत्र अधोदेश संयोगः फलं तदनुकूलः हस्तवियोगादिः व्यापारः. तत्र एकत्वसंख्यावच्छिन्न कुठाराश्रयः वर्तमानकालिकः एकत्वसंख्यावच्छिन्न हस्तापादानवान् नद्यधोदेश संयोगानुकूलः व्यापारः इति अर्थः अस्ति. तत् व्यापाराश्रयः कुठारः, फलाश्रयस्तु नदी अस्ति. अतः धातुः सकर्मकः, यतः फलं व्यापारयोः वैयधिकरण्यम् अस्ति.
सम्यक्. अत्र तदेव यदा अधोदेशसंयोगः फले एव अन्तर्भवति तदा तत्र अकर्मकत्वेनापि प्रयोगः दृश्यते. अत एव मया इदम् उदाहरणं दत्तं. पतति, when I just say बालः पतति, तत्र का विवक्षा इति चेत् तत्र अधोमुख गतिः एव विवक्ष्यते. तत्र फलं विशिष्य संयोगः, you are not indicating the contact with something. तदा पतधातोः अकर्मकत्वेनापि प्रयोगः दृश्यते. किन्तु यदा संयोगः फलत्वेन विवक्ष्यते तदा संयोगः फलं भवति. संयोगः कुत्र अस्ति? नद्याम् अस्ति. The kuthara makes contact with the nadi. I hope you understand. Patati is used in both senses in the language. When we just say it falls, the vivaksha is just a downward movement. It is not making contact with something specific. In that case, the just downward movement and the reaching a downward place, that is seen in whatever is falling. Tada akarmakaha prayogaha. But when we intend the fall into a specific contact with a specific place, it is used. As somebody said, he fell into the well, or he fell from swarga to bhumi, ityadi prayogeshu. Tatra sanyogaha phalam asti tadashrayattvena nadyaha karmatvam bhavati. Sanyoganukulaha vyaparaha is just a movement. Tattu kuthare asti ityataha kutharaha karta. Nadi kutharaha ubhayoho भिन्नत्वात् फलव्यापारयोः वैयधिकरण्यात् अत्र धातुः सकर्मकः अस्ति. तत्र will it not be nadyam patati? As I said, what is the vivaksha? Yadi maya nadi adhikaranatvamatreణ vivakshyate. It is only intended as a adhikarana for the action. That is, I just have it as a substratum, not that the kuthara is making contact with the nadi. In that case, it can be nadyam patati. Tadapi udaharanam drishtam kila yatha grihe bhojayati griham bhojayati adhikaranam api bhavati karta api bhavati. Evam atra vivaksham ashritya nadi adhikaranam bhavitum arhati. Karma api bhavitum arhati. So this is an example of vivakshatah karaka bhedah. Atra hastah apadanam asti vibhaga ashrayah. Right? So from the point of separation is hasta, and kashtachit karakam nasti. Atrapi kashtachhidah hastah avayava avayavibhava sambandhah eva asti. पतनक्रियायाः सम्बन्धः नास्ति इत्यतः काष्ठच्छित् अत्र कारकं नास्ति.
नमस्ते भगिनी. खगाः आकाशे डयन्ते. व्यापारः डयनक्रिया निराधारं भूतलादूर्ध्वं चलनानुकूलः व्यापारः. व्यापार आश्रयः कर्तारः खगाः एव. फलं निराधारं भूतलादूर्ध्व चलनं.
सम्यक्.
कर्म अपि खगाः एव. कर्मकः.
Samyak. So in this case, tatra phalam, the effect, the resultant of flying is that you are suspended or you are moving without support, right? So that is seen in the bird. Tatra vyaparaha kaha iti chet, tatra pakshinam vishaye, tatra pakshayoho chalanam eva tatra vyaparaha. Tasya ashrayaha api khagaha te eva kartaraha. Phala vyaparayoho samanadhikaranyat dhatuhu akarmakaha asti ayam prayoga.
Bhagini, is it okay to say just dayana kriya in that vyaparaha? Is it correct to stop with it, or
it is correct? We are only trying to be specific. What is dayana is movement of the wings in this particular case, because dayana involves both. See, dayana is from di dhatu. So the moment you say dayana, the moment you have that dhatu, you have both the phala and the vyapara there. You cannot separate it.
Oh, yes.
That is why we are specifically saying what is that action as the flapping of the wings.
Oh, right. Okay, understood. Avagatam. Dhanyavad.
Bhagini, atra bhutalat iti avashyakam va kevalam urdhvam iti vadanena paryaptam khalu?
Bhavitum arhati. Generally, you can say that. I mean, usually the reference point for flying is you have to be above the ground. That's all.
And it can be flying on top
again,
of a tree, on top of a building, wherever it is. So
yeah. Anywhere above the surface is what is intended. Yes. Yes, Nalini Bhagini, you had a question about this.
Bhagini, tatra dayanam tu किमर्थं क्रियते इत्युक्ते एकस्मिन् देशात् अनन्तर देशस्य प्राप्त्यर्थम् एव क्रियते खलु.
Napekshate, it is just being suspended above the floor is also flying. No, it doesn't have to reach a different place.
एवं वा
Saha arthaha nasti dayane. Dayanam is basically being flying. So you don't have to fly. Sakarmakatvena di dhatoho prayogaha nasti ityukte. It flies and reaches something. Yatha gacchati ityatra तत्र प्राप्तिः संयोगः फलत्वेन अस्ति. डयनम् इत्यत्र प्रयोगेषु तथा न दृश्यते. प्रयोगानुरोधेनैव अत्र अर्थनिर्णयः क्रियते. तथा प्रयोगः नास्ति डयने इत्यत्र. इवन दो आङ्ग्लभाषायां स्यात् ही फ्लैस् टु न्यूयार्क् इत्यादि प्रयोगेषु स्यात्, किन्तु तथा अर्थः डी धातोः नास्ति. डीङ् विहायसा गतौ इत्येव अस्ति. धात्वर्थः विहायसा गतिः नाम मूवमेंट इन द स्कै, दैट्स ऑल. तत्र प्राप्तिः इत्यर्थः डी धातोः नास्ति.
अस्तु.
Now we can talk about flying on the moon. Hence Bhutalat is relevant. Yeah, I mean, because only that we need not say Bhutalat, maybe. As long as it is above the surface, it is fine. Okay. So
That's
just
right.
falling is akarmaka. Falling into something from something will be sakarmaka. Exactly. That is true. Ubhayathapi prayogaha drishyate. So khe gacchati iti khagaha. Satyam. खग शब्दस्य निष्पत्तिः एव खे नाम आकाशे गच्छति इत्येव सः खगः. अत्र आकाशः अधिकरणम् अस्ति. ज्ञायते. अस्तु. अहं मम जन्मदिने मित्रेभ्यः मधुराणि अयच्छम्. महालक्ष्मी भगिनी.
नमस्ते भगिनी. नमस्ते भगिनी.
वदतु.
फलं परस्वत्वं, फलाश्रयः मधुराणि कर्म, व्यापारः मधुराणि क्रयणं, मम हस्ते मधुराणि स्वीकरणं, अन्यहस्ते प्रदानम्. व्यापाराश्रयः अहं फलाश्रयः अहम् इति फलाश्रयः भिन्नाः, मधुराणि व्यापाराश्रयः भिन्नः अहम्. स्वफलव्यापारयोः वैयेदिकरणे धातुः सकर्मकः, अतः सकर्मकधातुः.
सम्यक्. सो अत्र मया केवलं स्थापनम् उक्तं. सम्यगेव. तत्र क्रीत्वा स्वीकृत्य अन्येषां हस्ते स्थापनमेव व्यापारः. यः कोऽपि व्यापारः, आल् व्यापारस् इन्वाल्व्, दट् इस् व्यापार. सो वैयधिकरण्यात् अत्र सकर्मकः अस्ति. अन्यानि कानि कारकाणि सन्ति अत्र? दानस्य जन्मदिनम् अधिकरणम् अस्ति. सो ऑन that day, that time or that day is the adhikarana for giving. So it is adhara. Then mitrebhyah, mitra is sampradana. एतेषां सर्वेषां कारकाणां लक्षणं वयम् अस्मिन् सप्ताहे पठामः. So sampradanam is the recipient basically. So we have that. जन्मदिने मित्रेभ्यः मधुराणि अयच्छम्. अग्रे माता रजकाय वस्त्राणि ददाति. राजलक्ष्मी भगिनी.
नमस्ते भगिनी. माता रजकाय वस्त्राणि ददाति. अत्र फलं तात्कालिक अधीनीकरणं, माता कर्तुः, वस्त्राणि कर्ता, वस्त्राणि कर्मपदम्, व्यापारः रजकस्य आह्वानं, वस्त्राणां चयनं, गणनं, मौल्यनिर्धारणं, रजकेन वस्त्राणि ग्रहणं, सर्वे अपि व्यापारः. तत्र वैयधिकरणम् अस्ति इति सकर्मक प्रयोगः, सकर्मकधातुः.
सम्यक्. सो इदं किमर्थं दत्तमिति चेत् ददाति इत्यस्य सर्वदापि समानं फलं न भवति. सो यद्यपि मया तत्र पच् धातोः सन्दर्भे धातोः तत्र सर्वत्रापि फलं समानमित्युक्तं सर्वेषां धातूनां सर्वदापि फलं समानमेव भवति इति न. Right? When we give a dana, we are saying we are transferring the ownership to somebody. But when I give clothes to a washerman, I am not transferring the ownership. I am only temporarily putting it under his care. Tadapi dadhatoho prayogaha bhavati. So this is why that vivaksha is the key factor in everything related to karakas, right? So just because I said astu aham tubhyam panchavastrani dadami, the rajaka cannot claim that the ownership is transferred, right? It is not. Dadati need not always be parasvatva sampadanaanukulaha vyaparaha. Taivatra temporarily you are just handing it over for a short while. That is also conveyed by dadati. Katham jnayate atra kaha arthaha iti chet prasangavashadev jnatum shaknumaha. No chet jnatum na shakyate. Kevalam dadati ityukte saha, is it given as one zone? Kadachittu etad bhavati kim navaratradi utsaveshu sthalikayam kinchit diyate chet. Is the sthalika a part of the gift or is it to be given back? Right? So you don't know that vivaksha na jnayate chet kleshaha. So danakriyayam atra yada rajakaya vastrani dadati ityasti, tatra it's a temporary handover. It is not a transfer of ownership. So atrapi tatra tatkalika rupena adhinyam कुत्र भवति इति चेत् वस्त्रेषु भवति. अतः वस्त्राणां कर्मत्वं. सः व्यापारः. यथा उक्तं, यदि रजकः आपणे अस्ति तर्हि तत्र नेतव्यं, तस्य हस्ते दातव्यं, गणनादिकं कर्तव्यं. सर्वोऽपि व्यापारः मातरि भवति इत्यतः माता कर्त्री भवति. तत्र फलव्यापारयोः वैयधिकरण्यात् धातुः सकर्मकः. अत्र रजकः देयद्रव्योद्देश्यं सम्प्रदानम् अस्ति. अतः रजकाय वस्त्राणि ददाति इत्यपि शुद्धमेव. इट् इस् नाट् दट्, यद्यपि सत्यं रजकस्य वस्त्राणि ददाति इति प्रयोगः अस्ति, तत्र रजकः सम्प्रदानत्वेन न विवक्षितः. केवलं सम्बन्धमात्रेण तस्य विवक्षा अस्ति चेत् रजकस्य इत्यपि प्रयोगः कर्तुं शक्यते. A lot of places we can use shashti when we don't indicate it as a karaka. But rajakaya vastrani dadati is not wrong. Sopi shuddhaha eva tatra vyaparaha bhinnaha athva tatra phalam kinchit bhinnam ityeva.
भगिनी, यदा तत्र रजकस्य वस्त्राणि ददाति इति वदामः, तत्र सम्बन्धः वर्तते वा?
तत्र शेषत्वेन विवक्षा इत्युच्यते.
विवक्षातः
तत्र क्रियया सह अन्वयः, कारकत्वं न विवक्ष्यते. तत्र सम्बन्धः.
शाटिकां ददाति इति उदाहरणम् अस्ति खलु सिद्धान्तकौमुदी. दास्याः शाटिकां ददाति इति, स्वामी दास्याः शाटिकां ददाति इति.
तत्र दास्या इति तृतीयप्रयोगः अस्ति. तत्र भिन्नः अर्थः, अर्थविशेषः अस्ति तत्र. किन्तु षष्ठी प्रयोगः बहुत्र एवं, यत्र कारकत्वस्य विवक्षा नास्ति तत्र षष्ठी प्रयोगः भवति. कारकत्वम् अपि अत्र युज्यते एव. अस्तु, अग्रे गणेशेन कूर्चेन तालपत्रे महाभारतं लिखितं. मणिमा भगिनी.
नमस्ते भगिनी. तत्र फलम् अक्षरविन्यासं, फलाश्रयः महाभारतं, व्यापाराश्रयः गणेशः. सो अत्र कर्ता भवति गणेशः, कर्म भवति महाभारतं, फलव्यापारयोः वैयधिकरणात्
सकर्मकप्रयोगः. So tatra kim, what is actually writing in this case is akshara vinyasa rupata padanam, that is being represented as letters. Mahabharatam sarvada akshara rupena na bhavati kila, kevalam shravana rupena shabdah. Vastutah Mahabharatam iti chet tatra shabdah bhavati. अतः तेषां शब्दानाम् अक्षरविन्यासरूपसम्पादनम् एव अत्र लेखनम्. So those words are being represented as some written characters. That is what you are achieving by writing. Tatra phalam kim asti? Aksharavinyasa rupata, being in the form of letters. Tat kutra asti iti Mahabharate asti. Ataha Mahabharatam phalam asti. तदनुकूलः व्यापारः यत् लेखनं भवति. अत्र कूर्चेन इत्युक्तं केनचित् दन्तेन इत्युच्यते. सः स्वस्य दन्तम् एव भञ्जयित्वा कृतवान् इति. तथा चेत् तदेव करणं भवति. सः व्यापारः तत्र काचित् इङ्क् मशी अपेक्ष्यते. तत्र निमज्य तालपत्रे वा यत्किञ्चित् साधनमस्ति तत्र लेखनं. सः सर्वोऽपि व्यापारः. तस्य आश्रयः गणेशः. वैयधिकरण्यात् सकर्मकत्वं स्पष्टमेव. अत्र कूर्चः साधनम् अथवा दन्तः. तालपत्रम् अधिकरणम्. It is what holds those aksharas. अतः तस्य अधिकरणत्वं भवति. अग्रे कुमारस्वामी महोदय.
नमस्ते. शिशुः मातुः अंके स्वपिति इति अस्ति. स्वप्धातुः सुषुप्त्यवस्था सम्पादनानुकूलः. फलम् अस्ति सुषुप्तिः गाढनिद्रा इति चिन्तयामि. फलाश्रयः शिशुः. तत्र व्यापारः तत्र किञ्चित् सन्देहः अस्ति. शिशुः किमपि करोति वा इति प्रश्नः. अहं नेत्रनिमीलनं
सम्यक्
संस्कृतपदं न जानामि. जोगुलश्रवणम् इति लिखितवान्.
सम्यगेव.
व्यापाराश्रयः शिशुः. फलव्यापारयोः समानाधिकरणं नास्ति. समानाधिकरणः अकर्मकधातुः. समानाधिकरणं अस्ति. अतः
समानाधिकरणम् अस्ति इत्यतः अकर्मकः प्रयोगः. फलं सुषुप्तिः. तत्र केनचित् पृष्टं सर्वदा सुषुप्तिः न भवेत् इति. शिशोः तु प्रायः भवति. अतः उदाहरणं तु सम्यगेव अस्ति. शिशूनां सुषुप्तिः सम्यगेव भवति चिन्ताविहीनत्वात्. तदनुकूलः व्यापारः. अत्यन्तं लघुशिशुः चेत् सर्वदा शयनावस्थायामेव भवति. किन्तु यदि एकं वर्षं वर्षद्वयम् अस्ति तर्हि तत्र चलनं समाप्य तत्र शयनं, सो लैयिङ्ग् डौन् इस् अ व्यापार. नेत्रनिमीलनं, तत्र स्वापगीतादि श्रवणम् इत्यादि तत्र व्यापाराश्रयत्वात् शिशुः कर्ता. फलव्यापारयोः समानाधिकरण्यम् अस्ति इत्यतः अयम् अकर्मकः प्रयोगः. अङ्कः क्रियायाः आधारः अस्ति. मातुः कारकत्वं नास्ति, केवलं सम्बन्धः एव. अस्तु. त्वं लोकयानेन रामेश्वरात् काशीम् अप्राप्नोः. अन्ये केऽपि वक्तुम् इच्छन्ति? हेमा भगिनी.
अस्तु भगिनि. नमस्कारः. अत्र त्वं लोकयानेन रामेश्वरात् काशीम् अप्राप्नोः इति अस्ति. अत्र आप् धातुः प्राप् धातुः संयोगानुकूलः वर्तते.
प्राप्नोः इति अशुद्धप्रयोगः, क्षम्यताम्. प्राप्नोः इत्येव केन प्र आप् किल. प्राप्नोत् प्राप्नोः इत्येव. क्षम्यतां, टङ्कनदोषः. प्लीस् करेक्ट् इट्.
तत्र प्राप्नोः इत्येव भवेत्. प्राप् इति धातुः संयोगानुकूलः निर्दिशति. तर्हि तत्र व्यापाराश्रयः तु त्वम् इति भवति कर्ता. तत्र व्यापारः तु गृहात् निर्गच्छति. रेलयानं, लोकयान स्थानं तत्र गच्छति. पादचलनं सर्वं तत्र व्यापाररूपेण स्वीकर्तुं शक्नुमः. अपि च तस्य उत्तरदेशसंयोगः इत्युक्ते तत्र प्रापणं भवति काशीनगरम्. अतः काशी इति फलाश्रयः भवति. अपि च तत्र प्रापणस्य विषये लोकयानं तु साधनं भवति, करणम् इति. अपि च सः रामेश्वरात् गच्छति इति कृत्वा तत्र अवधिभूतं विभागाश्रयः भवति, अपादानम्.
उत्तमम्. ततः फलमस्ति संयोगः, तदाश्रयत्वात् काश्याः कर्मत्वं. व्यापारः चलनम् आरोहणम् अवरोहणम् इत्यादि त्वयि अस्ति इत्यतः त्वं कर्ता, वैयधिकरण्यम् अस्ति इत्यतः सकर्मकः। क्षम्यताम्, अनवधानात्
तद् न उक्तवती, क्षम्यताम्।
सम्यक्। अग्रे अग्रिमः अभ्यासः आसीत् अनुवादः. So there is nothing very specific about अनुवाद. It is just that तत्र कथं विवक्षा भेदः भवति. वस्तुतः समानं यत्र कार्यम् अस्ति तत्र अस्माभिः विवक्षा भेदात् कथं भिन्नरीत्या तस्य प्रस्तुतिः कर्तुं शक्यते इति। उमादेवी भगिनी।
The postman has arrived with the letter. The letter has arrived. Patra vahakaha patrena saha agataha. Patram agatam. Atra pratama vakye sadhanatvena vivaksha. Dvitiya vakye yatra patram agatam ityatra katruttvena vivaksha asti. Iti manye.
सम्यक्। तत्र साधनं नास्ति, पत्रेण सह इत्युक्ते तत्र प्रधानकर्ता इति अग्रे पश्यामः। बट अत्र मुख्यकर्तृत्वं तु पत्रवाहकस्य विवक्ष्यते। पत्रम् आगतं, पत्रं प्राप्नोति इत्यादिषु तु पत्रस्यैव कर्तृत्वं विवक्ष्यते, right? So in both cases the letter cannot come by itself, right? It is the same thing which is happening, किन्तु एकत्र अस्माकं विवक्षा पत्रस्य व्यापारे अस्ति, अपरत्र तु पत्रवाहकस्य अपि व्यापारे अस्ति इति भेदः। You can even say पत्रवाहकः पत्रं प्रापयत्, he delivered the letter इत्यपि वक्तुं शक्यते। त्रिषु अपि वाक्येषु यत् भवति, the actual thing which is happening is the same. There is a postman, there is a letter, he is bringing it home. किन्तु तत्र अस्माकं विवक्षाम् आश्रित्य तत्र भिन्नरीत्या अस्माभिः वाक्यप्रयोगः क्रियते। अग्रिमं दीपा भगिनी।
Ram. Words flow from the poet. Words flow from the poet's mouth. Kavehe vachanani nisravanti. Kavehe mukhat vachanani nisravanti. Avayavi bhavatvena iti likhitam. Avayava bhavatvena vivakša द्वितीय वाक्ये।
तत्र कवेः पदानि सरन्ति प्रवहन्ति यत्किमपि भवितुमर्हति, कवेः मुखात् प्रवहन्ति। अत्रापि इट इज बेसिकली द पोएट हू स्पीक्स, उभयथापि स एव तत्र भाषते चेदपि तत्र विवक्षा भेदेन साक्षात् कवेः कर्तृत्व अपादानत्वम् उच्यते। अत्र तु मुखस्य अपादानत्वं, कवि मुखयोः अवयव विभाव संबंधः। सो कविः पदानि प्रवाहरूपेण वदति इत्यपि प्रयोगः कर्तुं शक्यते। अत्रापि किं विवक्षा, the words are flowing out without any effort from the kavi. यदा एवम् उच्यते तत्र का विवक्षा, कवेः कोऽपि व्यापारविशेषः नास्ति, स्वयमेव तत्र पदानि बहिरागच्छन्ति इति विवक्षा। अत्र कविः पदानि प्रयुङ्क्ते इति यदि प्रयोगः तदा तु तत्र कवेः कर्तृत्वं भवति। अग्रे अन्ये केऽपि? चित्रा भगिनी।
I took my friend's book. I took the book from my friend. Aham mitrasya pustakam svikritavati. The next one, aham mitrat pustakam svikritavati.
सम्यक्।
प्रथमे पुस्तकस्य स्वीकरणमेव व्यापारः। व्यापार आश्रयः कर्ता अहमेव। फलं स्वत्वसम्पादनमस्ति। फलाश्रयः अत्र पुस्तकं कर्म। द्वितीयवाक्ये तत्रापि स्वीकरणमेव अहमेव कर्ता पुस्तकमेव आश्रयः फलाश्रयः
कर्तृकर्मणोः भेदः नास्ति अत्र
भेदः नास्ति
मित्रात् इत्यत्र अपादानं यदा मित्रात् स्वीकरोमि कः का विवक्षा इति चेत् मित्रपुस्तकयोः संयोगः आसीत् द बुक् वास् वित् द फ्रेंड I am separating it from the friend तत्र मित्रपुस्तकयोः विभागः मया क्रियते इति विवक्षा अत एव मित्रस्य अपादानत्वम् अस्ति किन्तु मित्रस्य पुस्तकम् इत्युक्ते it belongs to the friend मित्रः तस्य स्वामी स्वस्वामी भाव सम्बन्धः तत्र संयोगः कुतः इति नोच्यते गृहात् स्वीकृतवती इति भवितुमर्हति और तस्य मातुः स्वीकृतवती I took it from his mother is also possible. This sentence just says that the book belongs to the friend. It doesn't tell from where you are taking. अत्र तु मित्रात् स्वीकरणं मित्रम् अवधिः अस्ति किन्तु तस्यैव पुस्तकं वा अध्यापकस्य पुस्तकं वा मम पुस्तकं वा इति न ज्ञायते. So this is different information is being conveyed by the same sentence. अस्तु अग्रे मैथिली भगिनी.
Bhagini. The jewels are safely stored by me in the bank. The jewels are safely stored by the bank. Maya abharanani vittakoshe abhayena sambrutani. Dvitiya vakyam vittakoshena abharanani abhayena sambrutani.
रक्षितानि संरक्षितानि इति वक्तुं शक्यते.
अस्तु संरक्षितानि क्रिया संरक्षितं कर्म आभरणानि द्वयमपि समानं वाक्यद्वयेपि वित्तकोशे संरक्षितं अधिकरणत्वेन विवक्षा वित्तकोशपदस्य कर्ता अत्र अहं कर्तृत्वेन विवक्षिता. द्वितीयवाक्ये वित्तकोशपदस्य कर्तृत्वेन विवक्षा तेन संरक्षणकार्यं कृतं सः कर्ता अतः वित्तकोशः कर्ता.
सम्यक्. So the difference here is in the first sentence I am saying I stored. So the vyapara here is me taking it to the bank, maybe paying for the safety locker and keeping it there. Saha vyaparaha atra vivakshitaha vyaparashrayatvad aham karta vittakoshah tasyaha adhikaranam eva kriyayah. द्वितीये तु कः अर्थः वित्तकोशस्य यः व्यापारः they have a security guard, they have maybe alarms, they have the vyapara, the bank as an entity when you look at it. तस्य यः व्यापारः तत्र प्राधान्यं मया तत्र गत्वा स्थापनीयं किन्तु तत्र विवक्षा नास्ति अतः वित्तकोशस्य कर्तृत्वं भवति. ज्युवेल्स् इत्यस्य रत्नानि वा आभरणानि वा इति उभयथापि प्रयोगः अस्ति. तत्र अमूल्यं वस्तु ज्युवेल् नीड् नाट् बि जस्ट् जेम्स् तदपि सोऽपि अर्थः रत्नानि इत्यर्थः अपि भवति आभरणम् इत्यपि भवति. अस्तु अन्तिमं वाक्यं. So there is an important announcement after this just so that you know. अन्तिमं यः कोऽपि वक्तुम् इच्छति. यस् नलिनी भगिनी.
My relatives are arriving today by train at 1 o'clock. My relatives' train arrives today at 1 o'clock. Mama bandhavaha रेलयानेन अद्य एकवादने आगमिष्यन्ति इति प्रथमम्. मम बान्धवानां रेल्यानम् अद्य एकवादने आगमिष्यति इति तत्र द्वितीयं. तत्र प्रथमविवक्षातः तत्र बान्धवाः आगमिष्यन्ति इति तत्र डायरेक्ट् सूचना भवति परन्तु द्वितीयवाक्ये रेल्यानम् आगच्छति तस्मिन् बान्धवाः सन्ति अतः तेषाम् आगमनम् इति विवक्षा.
सम्यक्. सो मम बान्धवाः आगच्छन्ति. धूमशकटः अथवा रेल्यानम् उभयथा अपि अस्ति. It was earlier days it was a steam engine, though it is not anymore. कदाचित् प्रयोगः क्रियते, किन्तु तत्र यानस्य करणत्वेन विवक्षा बान्धवानामेव आगमनं विवक्ष्यते. साक्षात् यानस्यैव कर्तृत्वेन विवक्षायां धूमशकटः आगच्छति इति प्रयोगः. So the point of this exercise is just in Sanskrita, like in English, like in all languages, how we express something, the same fact, right? So it is always, there is fact and narrative, right? What is the narrative we give to facts? Atra sarvatrapi samanam karyam bhavati. Right? It is the same thing which is happening in all this, but how we present it varies. Sa eva bhashayaha वैखरी भवति. तस्य अध्ययनम् अस्माभिः अत्र कारकप्रकरणे क्रियते. Okay, so we will, I think there are no more questions. परीक्षायाः विषये बहुभिः पृष्टम्, अतः समयः अस्ति इत्यतः इदानीमेव वक्तुम् इच्छामि. प्रथमः अंशः परीक्षायां सप्तम अध्यायात् एकादश अध्यायपर्यन्तम् एव. Since this part was meant for Subanta Rupa Adhyayana, tatraiva asmakam focus bhavati. Api cha idanim karaka prakaranam idanimeva adhiyamanam asti bahubhihi prathamavaram ityatah tatra avagamanartham asmabhihi adhyayanam kriyate. We will complete chapter 12, but for the exam we will have till 11, that is the halanta, pullinga, strilinga, napumsakalinga and avyaya. Tat paryantam pariksha yam bhavati. Karaka prakaranasya krite, I'll give some sort of online exercise at the end just for your understanding, but it is not a part of the main exam, is the first thing. So we will have MCQs for 80 marks, 60 questions, 6th to 8th October. Okay. So 6, 7, 8 Shukra, Shani, Bhanuvasareshu Pariksha Bhavishyati. So from Friday till Monday morning it will be open. You are all very familiar with the process now. Ataha teshu dineshu iyam pariksha bhavishyati. Right. So for the remaining 20 marks, Ashtadhyayaha Dhvani Mudranam. So you don't have to tell it live. You have to record Ashtadhyayi and send it. Right? Evam ahatya shatasya ankanam krite iyam pariksha bhavishyati. Right? So for the MCQ, as always, you can write within that time, but within a single sitting of 3 hours. Only one attempt. So please be careful. Please think before submitting. Every time there are requests that I submitted after just the first section or the second section. So please be aware. Make sure you are attempting all the questions before submitting. And don't refresh or close the test window. All this will close the test. Use a computer and make sure it has enough charge. Right? All these are general instructions. So for Ashtadhyayi, you will have to record all the 4 padas. Right? We have studied 4 padas in this part 2. Right? Starting with 1-1, 7-1, 7-2 and 8-2. You have to record them in your place. You can use your mobile, whatever you have. It need not be a very good recording. It's okay if there are background noises. You have to be heard clearly, that's all. You can either read it or recite it from memory. Kanthasthi karanam karaniyam eva ityapi nasti. Yadi kanthasthi karanam kritam asti tarhi samyak. Right? So, but if not, it's okay. You can opt whichever you are comfortable with. You can have your this and read. You just have to record the 4 padas. Okay. So each pada is for 5 marks. The criteria will be, one is the fluency in reading. So we have been practicing all these days. So fluency and correct pronunciation. So these are the factors which we will be looking at. For the 20 marks, you have to record and submit all 4. Where to submit, etc., I will let you know later. So on the course page sometime, and not right now. So you have a month to prepare for that also. Sometime in the first week of October. So just before the exams, you will be given the option to upload it. It is simple home recording of the 4 padas. You can all 4 separately. You don't have to do it in one go also. Right? So please prepare for the exam. Okay. All 4 padas, not only the 2 padas we studied now, because through the this we have never practiced it. So at least the last month, please read daily. You don't need any other effort. Each pada will take hardly 5 minutes. So a total of 20 minutes. If you just do Parayanam daily from today for 1 month, you'll be able to read it very easily. Right? So Tavadeva Asti. Not only the 8th Adhyaya, 4 padas. 4 padas, not the 8th Adhyaya, 4 padas. What we have studied in this course. Prathamadhyayasya Prathamaha Padaha Vriddhiradeich Ityarabhya. Saptamadhyayasya Prathamaha Padaha Yuvoranakau Ityadi. Saptamadhyayasya Dvitiyaha Padaha. Then Ashtamadhyayasya Dvitiyaha Padaha. These are the 4 chapters which we studied as a part of this course. Right? Only those 4. Not one chapter fully. Right? Yatra yadadhitam tadeva. Tena saha halanta prakaranasya sampurnam adhyanam. Right? So please start preparing. Prepare well. There is more than a month's time. Meanwhile, we will be doing this Karaka. So there will be probably 3 more weeks. It will happen and we will close the course at the end of it. And we will have the exam on 6th to 8th October. Right? So I just wanted to let you know so that you have enough time to prepare, and there is not much delay after this. So 7-1, 7-2 and 8-2. I think that is all I wanted to say. I will also upload some revision questions on the portal, which you can start preparing for the Shabda Rupas. Okay. So, and one more thing in the MCQs, you cannot say I have fully forgotten Ajanta. So if there are obvious things, you will also need that. Okay. There will be no descriptive questions this time. That is no long answer types. It will be MCQs which may have some multiple selection, etc. येनाक्षर समाम्नाय अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयं नत्वा सरस्वतीं देवीं शुद्धां गुण्यां करोम्यहं पाणिनीयप्रवेशाय लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम्